In our series of 40 Days of Prayer, we continue to look at the theme of serving and loving one another. Today's Bible verses are from Matthew chapters 23, verses 11 to 12. The greatest among you will be your servant, for those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. First, let us consider these verses from the Bible in some of their context. In chapters 21 to 22, we read the description of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem and then spending more time in the temple, healing, rebuking the money changers and those selling doves, and his question and answer sessions with the religious leaders. Chapter 23 recalls almost entirely Jesus' own words, and he doesn't hold back. At the start of this chapter, Jesus tells the crowds and his disciples to obey the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. So he does not tell those listening to go against their religious leaders. Rather, he warns against imitating their religious-orientated and unloving behavior. He then repeatedly describes the religious leaders as hypocrites, a word derived from the Greek hypokrites, which literally means stage actors. So the verses for today's reflection come right in the middle of his very direct assessment of the failures of the religious leaders of the day. Jesus turns everything on its head, and these verses can only inspire something more from each one of us. We tend to consider those in positions of authority who control and influence our lives, whether democratically elected or not, as automatically worthy of our respect. But in the eyes of God, he honours those who humble themselves and lovingly serve others. In 1 Samuel 16:7 we read, "The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." He evaluates everyone's motives, as nothing is hidden about us from him. Psalm 139 verses 1 to 4 explains, "O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You understand my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down. You are all aware of all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, you know all about it, O Lord." If we want to be in step with God, we must learn to follow Jesus' example. The Message puts the verses for today like this: do you want to stand out? Then step down. Be a servant. If you puff yourself up, you get the wind knocked out of you. But if you're content to simply be yourself, your life will count for plenty. In a world often driven by celebrity and greed, let us hold on to serving as the highest standard. Let us remember to encourage and respect those who choose to serve in whatever way they feel God has led them to do. Thank you for listening.